Is the narc's temper tantrums, are they really any different than the temper tantrums of a child? Why do they feel different? Um, are they different? Why do children throw temper tantrums? I mean, they throw temper tantrums when they don't get their way. It could be very small. They didn't get ice cream. They didn't get cookies. Um, so they throw a temper tantrum just because they didn't get what they wanted. The narc really does the same thing. Um, if they don't get what they want, exactly how they want it, when they want it, from whom they want it, blah, 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 they will throw a temper tantrum that could be very, very expressive and loud and boisterous. And as we talked about, the reason that they are so monstrous in their temper tantrums is to make an imprint. It's like to let you know, hey, you can't just ignore me. I'm here, you know. I won't be ignored. I'm going to make sure you know I'm here. And I'll make sure you remember it by making it very, very traumatic for you. By getting violent, by threatening you, by shaming you, and they'll make sure that you hear them. You'll make sure you know exactly what page they're on. Really the same thing a kid does. Like when they don't get their way, they start a temper tantrum. When the adult just doesn't respond to it, the kids will sort of make a point of, and I know because I remember being a child and doing this very thing, will make a point of like being very exaggerated with their reaction. It's like, oh, you didn't hear me the first time. Let me make it louder for you. And the more that you ignore or don't give attention to the child, the more loud, the more upset, the more dramatic they will get, and the more it really just becomes like a theatrical performance. It's a performance, and it's premeditated. I don't know to what degree, sometimes with narcs, to what degree it's conscious and premeditated, and to what degree it's really just kind of something they can't control, or subconscious that sort of is arising in the moment. Sometimes it's hard for me to tell because they're just so manipulative and deceptive and disingenuous that it's hard to know. But they're coming from a point of fear. But the thing to remember is that their fear, even though they may express fear about you and your life, it's really about them. It's always about them. And this is what's so confusing. They don't really care about you. If they're expressing fear, it's because they're afraid that they're going to be exposed. That's the only fear they have. That's the only thing they care about. And it really actually is. They don't care about you. They could care less if you walked in front of a bus and got ran over. They just don't really care unless it involves something that's going to make them look bad. If it makes them look bad for you to walk in front of a bus, then they're going to care. If you just walk in front of, if they tell you walk in front of this bus, if it's their idea that you walk in front of a bus, then and get run over, then it's fine. It's all about their will, their ideas, their vision of things being the only one that matters, and them protecting their own ego from shame, because shame is the ultimate thing they don't want to feel. So they make everybody else feel it. They make everybody else feel fear and feel shame. Is it any different than what a child does? Why does it seem different? They're smarter than a kid is, and they have learned, that the narc has learned how to appeal, as I said in the previous video, to your natural sense of duty. So they make you feel like you're not doing what you should, quote unquote, should do, and they make you feel like you're betraying them, you're being disloyal to them, you're going to be sorry if you don't do this. But again, the question to always ask yourself is it fear? Is fear the primary motivation? And if so, is it a good idea to be motivated by fear? It just really isn't. Fear is not a good motivator for so many reasons. You're not thinking clearly when you're afraid. Anger is not a good motivator, you know? Any kind of reactive, just desperate, reactive, knee-jerk thing is not going to be a good response. So, is the temper tantrum any different when the narc does it than when a child does it? The difference is the narc is older and smarter, has smarter, has more experience and knows how to get their way and manipulate people better. But aside from that, there isn't really any difference fundamentally between the temper tantrum of a narc and the temper tantrum of a child.